Good afternoon, students. Welcome to our math class today. Today our lesson is from Unit 14 and we are doing ratio. So ratio is a way that we can compare two or more numbers or quantities, okay? So we use ratios to compare two or more numbers or quantities. That's the first thing that we need to know about ratio. We can also know that ratio is written in a symbol like this, okay? So the red two dots column that you find here is a symbol of a ratio that is used to show a ratio. So the symbol, this two dots, is used to show a ratio. So anytime you see this in the middle of two numbers, it means that we are talking about a ratio, and your understanding should be about a ratio, okay? So going forward, we're going to know how we can use ratio to compare two or more things, and how we can also simplify our ratio, because we're going to use numbers, and when the numbers are big, we have to reduce them to a smaller unit. Well, fine. Okay, so from your textbook, page 136, you will see that the example of the first exercise or the first explanation on ratio talks about a necklace, okay? So this is a necklace, and your necklace are having two colors, okay? So in this case, we are having, this is the rope of your necklace, and then it's having beads. So the beads, we have red, and then we have black beads. So how many beads do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 beads. Out of the 8 beads, 2 of them are red, and then the remaining 6 are black on this example. That means if we want to write a ratio on these red and black beads making the necklace, our ratio is going to be that for every 2 red beads, you have 6 black beads. So the ratio is 2:6. That means there are 2 red beads here, and there are 6 black beads. So the ratio is of red beads to black beads is 2:6. 2:6. Again, we can, if you want to change your words, okay, it doesn't matter which one that you want to write first. Either you want to write 2 first, or you want to write 6 first. It all depends on your statement that you make. So the statement here is that the ratio of red beads to black beads as 2:6. So that is the ratio. So if you want to write the 6 first, it means that you have to bring your black beads here, and then the red beads will go here. So if we are changing, the ratio is going to be the ratio of black beads to red beads. That means we're going to write the 6 first, and then the 2 is going to be here. So don't be confused about which one has to come first and which one has to come second. It all depends on how you make your statement. So your statement will guide you or will instruct you which number that you have to write first, okay? Again, once we have 2:6, that means we can reduce or we can simplify our ratio from these large numbers into a smaller number. And then we have here 1:3. That means we have to divide this side by 2, and we also divide this side also by 2. So 2 divided by itself will give us 1, and 2 divided by 6 will also give us 3. You can't divide here with a different number and divide here with a different number. It has to be the same number for you to divide, so that you are able to simplify your ratio. So this is a simplified form of your 2:6. So in simplifying ratios, We have 3 more examples here that we're going to do that will help you to understand how you can simplify your ratio. Okay, so we have 3:15 ratio. So this is 3:15 ratio. We're going to simplify this one, and simplify this one. If only it is possible, then we do it. Okay, so this will continue to, so like we said, if you are simplifying, you divide. So you have to divide here with the largest multiple factor between the 2 that you can find. So 3 can divide here and also divide 15 as well. Okay, so 3 is going to divide itself by 1, and then 3 is going to divide here by 5. So in simplifying this ratio, our new answer is going to be 1:5. That means we have simplified our ratio from this up to this new point. Okay, so let's see the next one. So you see here, the large number is coming first, and then the smaller number is also coming second. So we simplify this one. So it's possible that we can divide 14 by 7, and then we divide 7 by itself. So our ratio is going to be 2:1. Okay, 7 divided by 14 will give us 2, and then 7 divided by 7 will give us 1. Now let's look at this one. We have 4 and 14. So what number can divide 4 and also divide 14 as well? So we can say that 2 can divide 4 and also can divide that of 14. So 2 will divide here by 2, and we'll divide 14 by 7. Okay, so once you reach here, it means that you cannot go any further. So this becomes your simplified ratios that you have to end at. I hope that you have understood this one, and you can move forward to our first activity on this video. So our first activity is going to be from the learner's book. We will pick from page 137. We are doing questions 4. In 4, you have in other alphabet. Okay, we have sub questions. So 4 is from A up to J. So you do all questions under 4, and then we go to 5 and that of 6. After completing this task and checking, we move to our second video. So I'll see you in our second video. Hello students, welcome back to our second video. On this video, we will continue on other examples about how we can simplify our ratios. Okay, so first you need to understand or remember that ratio is a way of comparing 2 or more numbers or quantities. The symbol of a ratio is a colon. Okay, so that is the symbol of a ratio. You should always keep these 2 things in mind. In simplifying your ratio, as was demonstrated in the first video, it is always considering your 2 numbers if they are divisible by any number. So a number that can divide the first one and that of the second one, you use that particular number to divide these numbers so that you can simplify that of your ratios. Again, your ratios are written according to the statement that you make. Okay, so the statement that you make will let you know which number has to come first and which one has to come second, because it's a comparative analysis. That means you are comparing 2 things. So the item that you mention first has to, the value or the quantity of that item has to be written first, and then the second item that you mention in your statement has to be the second number or the second quantity that you write in your ratio. Okay, so that is the relationship between the first number and that of the second number. Okay, so on this side we're just going to look at how we can simplify. Simplify means you are making it simple, you are making it smaller. That means you are simplifying it. Okay, well, so our first example that we have here, we are supposed to write these ratios in its smallest form. So these are the ratios and we are supposed to write them in its smallest form. So 2 and 20, we can say that 2 will be 1 and 20 will be 10. So we use 2 to divide 2 and 2 to divide 20, and we have 1 is to 10. 4 and 18, we can say, okay, so we use 2 to divide 4 and we have 2, and we use 2 to divide 18 and we have 9 also over there. So 21 and 3, okay, so we'll have 7. 3 will divide 21 by 7 and 3 will divide itself by 1. 20 and 4, okay, so 4 will divide 20 by 5 and 4 will divide itself by 1. It looks very simple, but you have to be conversant with your divisions so that it becomes very easy for you to simplify your ratios all the time. Whenever you meet a situation whereby it is not possible to simplify it, you just leave it as it is. Assuming you were asked to simplify 2 to 9, which is not possible, so you just have to let it be as it is. Okay, well, our second activity is from the skills builder. Will be from page 68. You are to answer questions 3 and yeah, we'll add 4 here. Okay, so we'll do 3, 4, 5 and we'll end at 6. Okay, so after this exercise then we will meet in our last video to complete this lesson. See you. Students, welcome back to our last video. So this is our last video on our lesson on ratio. So it's been on ratio and proportion actually, but we've taken care of ratio today, and our subsequent lessons or our subsequent meetings will be dealing with that of proportion as well. So don't worry, seeing proportion and teacher doesn't talk about proportion today. Well, ratio is the way that we use to compare two or more quantities or numbers. That one, it is stuck in our minds and we cannot forget about that. The symbol of ratio are these two dots that you see. It looks like a colon. It's a colon actually, but it's for ratio when it comes to mathematics. Okay, simplifying your ratio means you have to make the numbers that you have, the ratio number that you have, smaller. That means you have to look for a number that can divide the first and the second number without any remainder, and then you have your new simplified ratio numbers. So simplifying, you are changing from the large numbers up to the smaller numbers. Very simple, very easy, which I know everybody has been able to do from the first and the second tasks that we dealt with. We will conclude our lesson. We will have our homework today from the challenge book. We will be doing from page 75. You are supposed to answer questions 1 up to 4, and then we will meet again next week. Goodbye.